This iced coffee is so good. Hello, cozy friends, and welcome to another book vlog. If you haven't already, grab a cozy drink or a cozy cardigan and sweater. We're going to be rating my favorite books of 2024 from worst to best, but I'm excited to walk you through the books of 2024, why I rated them the way I did. So in total, I read 60 books this year, and I'll be reviewing 14 today. Now, before we begin, I want to talk about my rating system. I rate my books based on 3 criteria. The first criteria are the characters. Do the characters have depth? Do they change and grow and mature? Now, I know not everyone is perfect and there's no such thing as a perfect character. I love the relatability of a lot of characters, but being a therapist, I really appreciate seeing a character start one way in the book and be completely different at the end. The second criteria I do is the plot. So is the plot moving towards something? Is there action and resolution? This is why I really like to read series like Harry Potter and ACOTAR, because you have the time to really grow in the plot. With single books or non-series books, it's a little bit harder, but it's still possible, which is why I have 5-star read for some fun rom-coms and thrillers. And for criteria number 3, I look for emotional significance, and that's to say, did the author make me feel something deeply as I was reading, or even post-read? You know those books that make you cry, or you want to throw them at the wall, or you want to just shout from your rooftop to everyone, go read this book, go buy it, or you buy it for your friends? That's emotional significance, where after you read the book, certain scenes are just lingering and sticking with you. These ratings for me are from my perspective. A 3-star rating for me could have been someone's 5-star and vice versa. I'm not here to dig on any of the authors or their writing, but just to give an honest review from my perspective. So with all that being said, let's start rating. Oof, I'm feeling very pregnant today, so we'll see how long I can sit here. I got my notes on my phone of every single book, so we're gonna start with our 1 stars. Luckily, I only had one book fall under 1 star because in 2024, I really started finding out what genres I like, and I read some really good books. It was harder for me to narrow down my 5 stars and 4 stars than my 1 star. So with that being said, I only had 1 star. It was Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute by Talia Hibbert. This would fall under a YA romance novel. It follows 2 characters that are very academically competitive. The tension in their relationship when they go to a camp to win a prestigious academic scholarship grows in the book. The book lacked character maturity for me, and I found some of the conversations between the characters really immature. To the author's defense and the book's defense, this is a YA novel, and if I had read this book in high school, I probably would have loved it. It fell short. Next, we have my 2-star reads, and one of the books I still have because I think the cover is absolutely adorable. It's The Littlest Library by Poppy Alexander. I bought this book for the cover because it's so cute. I love the artwork. I also love books set in England and the countryside. I just thought this is going to be a cozy read, but unfortunately it was just a very slow burn. It's a contemporary fiction romance. There wasn't really much conflict or resolution or plot thickening, so I did find myself wanting to read this book a bit faster so I could move on, and that's not a good sign. Next, for 2 stars, I have Love at First Sight by Anna E. Collins. This is a romance fiction, enemies to lovers as a premise, and it follows a young female architect who buys the land directly by her ex-fiance and creates the Spite House. So I thought the premise sounded great. I was really looking forward to having like a quirky, fun romance, but unfortunately the characters were really petty and immature, and they didn't grow. Like, I thought that there would be growth, there would be reconciliation, forgiveness, or even just some type of resolution, and there really wasn't. In fact, the characters became more petty as the book went on. Next, I have my 3-star reads. First up, I have Hello Stranger by Catherine Center. It's a contemporary fiction romance. It follows a portrait artist who loses her ability to see faces, which is pretty horrible when that's your job. It's a really beautiful cover. I love the flowers, and the artwork is just stunning. So I'll be keeping this on my shelf, and also it coming from my friend Morgan means a lot to me. Parts of the book were very enjoyable, but they just didn't meet enough criteria to be rated high. Next, we have Found in a Bookshop by Stephanie Butland, and this book would fall under fiction lit. It's about a bookstore owner named Loveday, and it's set during the pandemic, and when they're forced to close their doors, they open up a book pharmacy to keep the bookstore afloat, where customers can email the store their struggles, and the owner and her husband and her workers can prescribe a book, which I love this idea, and I would have loved this being an option during the pandemic. It probably was at certain bookstores, I just wasn't aware of it. The book follows like 5 or 6 characters, and there's so many timelines going on. I was so confused every single time I picked up the book. Next, we have Funny Feelings by Tara DeWitt. This is a contemporary fiction about 2 comedians that are friends to fake lovers to real lovers. I found characters to be a bit annoying and certain parts to honestly kind of trigger me. There were some jokes in the book, and I know it's 2 comedians, so I respect that, but there were some jokes in the book that I really did not agree with my value system. But overall, it was enjoyable, and I did read this with my friend Morgan, so I really enjoyed meeting up with her and talking to her about it, but it was enjoyable. Moving right along to our 4-star reads, I have Ready or Not by Cara Bastone. This is a contemporary romance that follows a woman in New York City who navigates an unplanned pregnancy. The love interest is just so sweet and genuine throughout the book. I probably love this book even more because while I was reading it, I found out we were pregnant with our 3rd baby. Following a character that is in the same lane of life with you and is going through the same feelings. It's so life-giving, and I recommend that to you as well. Whatever you're going through, whether it be a graduation or a move or a marriage or a new baby, find a book that follows similar themes as you. It's really heartwarming. You feel like you're doing life with these characters, and that's how I felt with Ready or Not. Next, we have The Wishing Game by Meg Schaefer. I love the cover. It's so pretty and whimsical. This is a fiction fantasy romance. It follows themes of magic, kind of like a game show, and if Charlie and the Chocolate Factory had a baby with Gilmore Girls and Harry Potter, it would be this book. This book is cozy, it's delightful, it's whimsical. I really enjoyed it. I read it in one day. It's kind of a smaller girl. If you're looking for a fun, whimsical read, this is your book. Next, we have The Love of My Afterlife by Christy Greenwood. Book is absolutely hilarious. I loved it. It's all over Book Talk, and I think it's worth the hype. It follows a girl that dies unexpectedly, finds her soulmate in the afterlife, and then has to go back to Earth to find them and wrangle them up. Highly recommend. Next, we have Somewhere Beyond the Sea by TJ Klune. This is the sequel to House on the Cerulean Sea. And sometimes with sequels, you're like, is this gonna work? Is this gonna be good? It was really endearing to go back to Marseilles Island and be with endearing characters such as Arthur, Linus, and Chauncey. And I just loved this book. I did not rate it 5 stars because I liked The House on the Cerulean Sea a bit better, but still a very good sequel. Highly recommend. Okay, finally for my 5-star reads, I have 4, and they just stole my heart. So the first book I have is Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt, with themes of grief and family and a really sweet friendship between an octopus named Marcellus and a woman named Tova, who's a grieving widow and lost her son as well. And the friendship and loyalty and plot is so beautifully written in this book. And this is one of those books that emotionally hit me so hard. I believe I cried twice, physical tears coming down because it was just so good. I highly recommend. Next, we have The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. TJR comes out with absolutely incredible binge-worthy books, and I highly recommend this one. This is not the special edition, but Barnes & Noble just came out with one with a green spine and golden rings. But this book is a contemporary fiction that follows an old Hollywood star who's getting interviewed about her life and her 7 husbands. It's so beautifully written. The character growth is beautiful. The emotional significance had me on my seat the whole time I was reading this. Probably one of my favorite books of all time. Next, we have Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. This book I read with my friend Morgan, and we were obsessed with it last year. I remember reading every chapter or 2 and texting her like, this is so funny. This is incredible. What do you think? And we both were on the same page. 5 stars, 6 stars if I could give it more, I would. She's kind of a thick girl, so but you know what? It read very fast. Even though she's a bit thicker, I think I read this in 3 days. I couldn't put it down because while you're reading it, it's playing out like a movie in your mind. Super fun, super hilarious. Love it. Last but not least, and probably my best read, no joke, of 2024. Yellowface. You saw this coming. You saw it coming. If you didn't see it coming, go to the stores right now after this video and go buy this book by R.F. Kuang.
This book is just like
mind-boggling. It would fall under a contemporary fiction. It follows two girls named June, short for Juniper, and Athena. They are both aspiring authors. They went to college together, they were roommates, and while Athena's career just takes off and she becomes like Netflix popular and a multi-millionaire, Juniper's career is nothing but that. She can't even get published. And a twist of fate has Athena dying in front of June and June stealing her manuscript. Now, here's the big theme of this book. June identifies as a white American female author, and Athena identifies as an Asian American author. And so when Athena dies in front of June, she has an unfinished manuscript about World War I and Chinese labors that June steals. She steals her manuscript and plays it off as her own and becomes this overnight author success. As I was reading, I was thinking, how is she getting away with this? And you will too. If this book highlights culture appropriation, which I really appreciate, you leave this book learning about a population of people that you may not have understood or known about before. Don't hesitate, go get it. So there you have it, friends. Those are my worst to best ratings for 2024. 2025, I cannot wait to rate for you all. It's gonna be so good. If you enjoy cozy books and lifestyle vlogs and coffee, thrifting, be sure to like this video and subscribe so you are aware of new videos that come out. Until next time, stay cozy, drink your iced coffee, and have a blessed day. Bye!